So welcome. It is January 8th, January 9th. Happy New Year. First meditation class of 2018. Although maybe we did have another. No, we had another meditation class in 2018. We did. This feels like the first official one because the other one was in a retreat. I'm just going to mute you all because I'm getting a little bit of echo from somebody. We're going to begin with our centering and grounding, and then we're going to do our mantra. Then I have a little teaching talk for you, and you can introduce yourselves, respond to the talk, and then we're going to do some meditation. So let's just feel and connect with the earth underneath us. Opening to the always waiting and ever-present earth, noticing the qualities of the earth that are present for you today. Maybe a quietness, a stillness, a stability. A calmness. Notice how those qualities start to come into your body and your being when you open your awareness to them. And then feel that stability and support. Lengthen your spine from the base of your spine all the way up through the crown of your head, opening up through the back of your head. Drawing your ears back over your shoulders. Your head is crept forward, feeling that opening through the back of your neck. Space between your teeth, your tongue floats in your mouth, your elbows are underneath your shoulders, not pulling you back or forward. Just notice how that allows you to drop into your body. And then how there's a opening that kind of results once you open into your body. There's a kind of deepening that happens where you start to feel your breath coming into your lower belly as well. And then just notice how the phrases of our mantra are landing for you in your body today. Remembering that I am intrinsically good without exception, and that I have been given this precious opportunity of my unique life. I find ways to engage in my daily practice in everyday life. When I open to the vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability of the earth, that vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability opens into my body and my being. I'm remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive. I enter into my relationships as a part of my daily practice in my everyday life. So staying connected with the earth underneath you, your tall spine, your embodied presence, and breathing into your lower belly. know that each one of us here has access to this embodied presence that is connected to the earth. And that when we come together in our circles, that we follow all the guidelines that we follow when we come together as a community. We treat each other with loving kindness by speaking from our own experience, using the words I instead of you, and trusting that each one of us has access to our own inner wisdom, so we know that there's no need to fix or change anybody, no need to rescue or offer advice, because each one of us has access to this embodied wisdom that we're all connected with at this time. And then we'll take a moment to just connect with each other as a community here. Hi, Laura, welcome. And to connect with each other here, each one of us who have joined together as a community. So each time we come together, we're unique in our configuration. And it's always very special to me to see who is joined and how we come together. And that you have carved this time out of your day or evening and lives to be here. It's a beautiful act of generosity, both to yourself and to each other, to support each other in this way. So in January, we're focusing on this kind of collective cultural mantra that happens, that Paige has brought forward, of the new year, the new me that happens. And you know, I've been contemplating this over the last few days, and my contemplation has brought forward a little bit different perspective over the last few days, partly because of my own experience of community over the last few days, and also coming out of the retreat, and just a few things that have been happening. So I've really been reflecting on how, or what's been coming up for me, is how this new year, new me is actually not only quite self-harming and self-judging, and it's quite a self-flagellation. So I really do still believe that to be true, but also how it's quite self-indulgent, self-interested, and quite egocentric and narcissistic in its proposition. And I think that those two things are, I said this morning, two sides of the same coin. That when we are behaving in a way that is self-indulgent and self-interested, and when we are out for number one and behaving in ways that are egocentric, that it is actually quite self-harming. Even though maybe we feel like we are protecting what is rightfully ours, that in the end it is quite harming. When I started thinking about how, or contemplating how, this new year, new me mantra is completely self-centered in its tendencies, I think it's really because it forgets the totality of our body. So when we tune into our mantra, the one that we did at the beginning of this class, or when we come into our yoga mat or come into our community, yes, we tune into our own unique embodied experience, which is important. And that gives us a lot of feedback, not only about our embodied experience, but how we're connecting with each other in the world. But we also, through that mantra, notice how our embodied experience doesn't end with the envelope of our skin. We tune in, we feel how the earth energy is intermingling with our own energy. We do that with the lines, when I open to the vastness and stillness and peace and stability of the earth. That vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability opens into my body and being. Many of you are very active in the Moonstruck section here. That's also another way to be very connected with the cosmic body. And we also, in our mantra, we honor our interpersonal bodies, knowing that our energetic experience, it doesn't end with the envelope of our skin. And we do this, we're affected by this many times throughout the day, full stop. And we draw attention to that when we say the words, remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive. I enter into relationships as part of my everyday life. So there are a few things that have been making me reflect on this a bit. A couple of days ago, I received an email from a student, and I'll let this email speak for itself, because I think it's really poignant, and it speaks to this kind of self-driven kind of like, I need to pull myself up by the bootstraps and get this together. So this person says, I've been following you for the past 4 years. I've done almost all your series and always felt great after each yoga class with you. I wanted to send you a message and thank you for your great work, but I didn't because I'm not really used to contacting people on the internet. I don't have any social media. Recently, I've been doing less and less yoga. I've been inventing excuses and I got lazy and I just don't know. And although I do recognize what yoga did for me, I know it will follow me on my journey, but I'm stuck. I need a plan. I need somebody to tell me to do this. I almost always play the role of the teacher and guide myself. And I would be pleased if I just had a response from you. There's much more I'd like to write you here now, but I'll just send this email before I change my mind and cancel it. Thanks if you read this. So here, I think the new year, the new me mantra would say that we need a plan. We need to do this. And I think that many of us know, especially coming out of an experience like a retreat, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, so this isn't like, there's no actual finger wagging going on here. This is just, some insights that have been coming up for me. But we all know how difficult it is, if not impossible, to take this journey alone. We know, how helpful it is to have community, to have friends who are going through the same things. And part of this is having a teacher who's also taking the journey and who knows what it means to take the journey. And it's not laziness on our part when we can't, keep ourselves going. It's really exhaustion from trying to hold it all together from sheer ego strength. And we know from our own somatic meditation that lands this tension in our body. So thinking that we can do it all on our own or get it all together is the exact kind of self-violence that gets inflicted by this kind of new year, new me mantra. And as a community, we've just walked each other through our transition into the New Year retreat. And many of you have spoken. You spoke at the end of the retreat and throughout the retreat about how important it was to you to have the supportive community with you through the entire retreat, just how that made the retreat experience so doable for you. But some of you wrote about it recently too, and I wanted to highlight that as well. Yana said recently in the comments, she said, thank you for all your posts. They were a huge inspiration to me and support. I learn a lot from reading them and feel more compassionate towards myself because I know I'm not alone. I feel very proud of all of you and honored to be part of this community. And then Marian also posted about this in the thread from the retreat too, not just about the community. And I really want to stress that we're parts of several communities, right? We were part of this community here, but we're all parts of our families, which are communities as well. And we have friends that are communities that support us. We're all parts of several communities. And I think I read somewhere once that to feel nourished as a human being, you need to be part of 5 communities. And I kind of, went through the communities I am involved in, and I was like, yeah, that kind of seems about right. Because Marian speaks about how her husband and her son really supported her, and one community will support another community, right? And actually Maria spoke about this as well at the end of the retreat about, how those insights from the retreat of, not trying to do it all herself. And then at the end of the retreat, opening up to asking for help from her son and asking for a ride and stuff. And then through that, another member in our community, Jackie, really resonated with that as well. So community is really huge, and not just this community, but opening up to the support from other communities, our family and such. So Marion said, I also realized how connected we are in the community. Similar problems in different ways of interpreting and dealing with it gives new ideas and will sure help me on my path to a better understanding of myself and others. And without you all, I would have stopped before the yin class with a great aftermath. And she says, my son and husband were also great in backing me up with taking over the chores and not complaining about me not being available. And, this is actually really, really big, the way that our families make space for us to be present here. Whether it means, like in our case right here, maybe a little bit later dinner, that's what it would mean for me, or getting all our work done a little bit earlier so I can be here with all of you. There are a lot of concessions that are being made by my family community so I can be with you as a community. And I know that's true for all of you as well. And even in the ways that you are arranging your lives so that you can be here with us as a community. So it's not just this community, it's the larger community that makes it possible for us to be here as well. And so as we transition into the new year, I think it's easy to get caught up in our own narcissism, and it was just kind of leaving a little bad taste in my mouth. And it really, what was kind of making me feel icky about that was that it was losing sight of the totality and the greatness and the splendor that is our true embodied experience. Because it's not just our personal, unique, embodied experience, which is a miracle, but it's also one that takes into consideration our interpersonal bodies and also the cosmic body, which, when you open to that, it's just endless. So much bigger than this. So that's what I've been contemplating. And to me, it just really opens up things and frees it up a lot. So I'll hand it over to you, and you can respond or ask any questions you might have, and introduce yourself, where you're connecting from. And then we will do some meditation as well.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie, and I'm connecting from Australia. I didn't take part in the retreat, but I did feel a shift in my somatic meditation during the retreat, an energetic shift. And for the last couple of weeks, I practiced nearly every day. It was the last of the class before that, but the somatic meditation, the power of the pause, with the healing energies coming up and into us and going out into like all the situations around us without us actually having to do or strive, but just letting that beautiful energies of the earth come up. And as well as when I'm actually on my mat, that helped me a lot at moments throughout the day when I had to connect and ground myself. I could feel that healing energy, whether I was standing in the kitchen or down the paddock or what I was doing. So I think I've spent a lot of time the last couple of weeks reflecting on that. And what I found as well was I lost my dad on Christmas Day, and it was very sad. And for a few days, that healing somatic meditation and energies is what carried me through. And there was a few days where I just slept, but I knew that was just what my body needed. The somatic meditation would just take me into that. So this new year was a little bit different for me because I was sort of caught up in the grieving process. And my dad's mum actually died on New Year when I was 16. So New Year's always been a bit of a bit of a poignant time for us. So so it was interesting, hearing the talk today. And I think through the somatic meditation, I'm becoming more and more open to feeling those energies of the earth, and more just letting be than trying to let go. One of the things I used to do was let go, which is kind of that doing, striving, new me, new this. And just over the last couple of weeks, I had a bit of a shift where instead of about letting go, just about letting be. So that's where I'm sort of at just now, just letting be.
Thank you. I've gone around and I've kind of muted a bunch of people. I'm getting some feedback on the lines. I have no idea where it's coming from, to be honest. I don't know that it helped muting anybody. I think it's, I'm still getting it. I think it's good you've taken the time right now, because you're heading into, when does the course start?
End of next month.
Oh, you still got a bit of time. Yeah.
But I have all my books arrived last week, so I have started some of the reading material, which when I was starting to read that, it's a lot of aha moments, and that's been quite the little bit of that I read sort of came at the right time as well, and that sort of helped us as part of the process as well. Just really, just letting be, and what comes up, and really trying to feel into it and not shut off. So over the last couple of weeks, there's been so many emotions that in the past I would have shut off because it wasn't the right time of the year, it was too busy, this needed done, that needed done. But I've just let them come and just be with them. And it's been interesting, some of the emotions that came up, like disappointment, going back to that, our expectations of other people, and how they perform in our lives and the roles that we want to play. And that was probably one of the energies that I wouldn't really been aware of before. But when it came up, and I was with it for a few days, and there was a lot surrounding the disappointment and the way I expected, certain people to act or do things. But I was able to try not get caught up in the story of it, because every time the story went on about, and I'd think about what you were saying, drop the story and just feel the energy. So the more I could drop the story and be with it, it took a few days, but it kind of moved through my body. Whereas I think before I wouldn't even have felt the disappointment, because I would have just got hung up on the story of why everyone was, doing what they did, or, why, So it would have been all about the story and the ego perspective, rather than just dropping in and feeling the energies of it. And I think that just surprised me, because I didn't think disappointment was something I would feel during the grieving process. So that was like a real, wow, curveball. Yeah.
Yeah, that grieving process is a free-for-all.
Yeah. And most of my friends, they've all lost a parent. I suppose I am fortunate in the sense that I'm 45 years old, and no one close to me's died since I was 16. So it's the first time as an adult that I've experienced grief on that scale. And I think I'm quite an empathetic person, but I think until you go through certain experiences, you kind of get what people are talking about, but you don't. But I think the somatic meditation definitely helped get me through it, because it gave me the container I needed every day. It gave me the space, it gave me the capacity, but it also let me experience the emotions. Mm-hmm. Experience that level of discomfort and be okay with it. Mm-hmm. And not be the person who's always strong, does everything, puts on the happy face and gets things done. And it was I just said to everyone, yep, falling apart, wheels are off, you know, and just, yeah, it was, yeah. And that for me, that was the practice of the somatic meditation over the last year. It's like, even if I'd wanted to, I couldn't, because I'm not the person I was 14 months ago. So even if I'd wanted to do those things, I just physically couldn't. You know, it's like a little force, just, yeah. So, so it's,
Not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah.
You can? Okay. I'm Laura Moyer from Pennsylvania, and I did a little bit of the retreat. Had to go back to work after the holidays, so it was very hard to fit it in, but I did a few of the meditations and some of the classes, and they were really wonderful. Trying to get back into more meditation with you. It's my goal this year.
Yeah, thanks for coming today, Laura.
Sure.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Go next.
Okay.
Kyla, and I'm in North Carolina. And yes, it has been bitter cold here for the last several days. And today we started to warm up. Yesterday I went outside to do some necessary, we collect compost, and the kitchen waste was built up and it had to go outside. And I'd been out there for 10 minutes. The tips of all of my fingers were sore. Oh my God, am I going to get frostbite? But I got, so it's been unusual. And today it started to warm up, and I'm very grateful. All of my potting materials are frozen solid, so I dragged them out into the sun in hopes they'll thaw out. So yeah, that's been my process recently. But I did the retreat. I'm so grateful for it. I'm still processing. It feels like an alchemical process is still bubbling away inside, and I'm just like, wow, that was huge. So I don't have a whole lot to say about it in this moment, but yeah, it was like an initiation for me, I think.
Yeah, that was your first Melissa retreat. So I'm proud of you, Kyla.
yeah.
And it will continue to work on you. And I think, I think about the courses that I've taken with Neil, my teacher, and the retreats that I've taken with him. They're still working on me. So that's how it is.
It's good.
Yeah. That's why we have space between them.
Yeah, they're intense, and I relate to that. The work that takes time, and they're slow burning. The retreats that we did earlier in the year, they're still having an effect. Yeah, and I think one of the things that came out of this last retreat for me was contentment. That really came forward, and that was really beautiful, actually, to have that awareness come forward about contentment. And it also, to have that awareness, it's letting me sort of keep my eyes on my own map, if that makes sense. So like I see the whole new year, new me stuff, and I don't know if you've seen this around the new moon too, when posts will come up.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll be sort of talking a little bit about that for the next Moonstruck. I get a real bee in my bonnet about that kind of thing. But yeah, the whole contentment thing, engaging with that and having that awareness around contentment, it's keeping me focused on myself. And it's hopefully not in a narcissistic way.
No. No, that's very different, right? That's
Yeah,
got
I
a
get
very
what you're saying before about the narcissism. So that's where I'm at with post-retreat and the talk today.
It's a very different. That's why the word contentment, right? There's a big difference between contentment and, right? Because contentment doesn't claim to strive to need anymore. It's happy with what it has. So there's none of this doubling back on itself with the violence, right?
There's no force involved with contentment, whereas I spoke about this in the retreat comments. Things like happiness and bliss and joy, I mean, they're wonderful things, but they have that touch of striving and that attainment.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a nice thing, like grabby hands, you know? Whereas contentment, it's just a state where it's just equilibrium and non-striving.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and go. I'm Shar, and I'm connecting from Ohio, and it is a little warmer here today as well. I did not get to participate in the retreat, but I did start today going back and checking into it and see what all was happening. So hopefully this week I can get back in and start back on my mat a bit.
Thanks, Shar.
You're welcome.
I'm Maria. I'm from Harrison, New Jersey. This week has really shown me that I need to slow down a lot. And the universe apparently thinks so too, because I got sick and I had to really slow down.
Sorry, Maria. Sorry, go ahead. I was getting echo.
Is it me?
Well, I don't think you can echo on yourself. Go ahead. I got crazy with the mute button, so you weren't getting that echo.
Okay.
It's better now. No,
yeah, the universe seems to be telling me that I really need to slow down because I got sick twice in a week, and I had to really stop and pay attention to what the signals on my body and slow down. And I found so much openness in that. And I didn't do yoga for 2 days.
Yay, good for you.
Yeah, I rested and I let my body rest. And you know what? I feel so much better today because I let myself have that space. And it's the retreat, it's life. And I also found that like doing so much yoga in a couple of days, I really need that
really need a lot more yoga in my day to feel that sense of groundness, that sense of calm in my life. And a lot of lessons learned in this retreat, and they're still opening.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people got sick on this retreat, huh? I mean, it's not like making me joyful, but it brought me, I don't mean to laugh, but it brings it, we're working on deep levels, and it's bringing stuff forward. And like, like Maria said, it forced you to slow down, or it's clearing away old stuff. And
but it was good because it opened up so much. Like, I didn't think I had time to do all these classes. I mean, I had so much time, and I didn't have to speed up. I didn't have to do anything except just show up on my mat, and it was great. And I don't have to overthink it anymore. I just come down and do what I can, and that's fine.
It's amazing how we can try to control our experience so much, and yet really it's what we need is right there waiting and available for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking today, like, had I tried to run this 30-day challenge at any point prior in my life, I probably would have committed suicide, because I was just not in a, like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to release a video every day. But, I just think, okay, one foot in front of another, plan another video, plan another 5 videos, film another 5 videos, make sure you're doing your practice, make sure you're taking time to rest, And like last night yesterday was so dark, we couldn't film. And I was like I was quite panicked about that, like, oh, we're going to get behind. And we were out for dinner at a friend's house, and he used to work in the news, right? So we're going to have to do the news, for God's sakes, right? We don't have anything in the can. He's like, it's okay. You've got this. You'll just go live. I'm like, yeah, we'll just go live. So what? We just go live. So, yeah. But we make our lives such a big deal.
We do. We overthink things so much, like, oh my God, we have all this. It's really not that hard. You just show up.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I always tell myself, I just teach yoga. I'm not a brain surgeon, not a heart surgeon. Like, nobody is going to die if the video does not go out tomorrow. It's really not a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
It's just all this pressure we put on ourselves, which is, yeah. So interesting. So that seems to have really come forward for a lot of people. So what I thought we would do today for practice is Earth Descend, because that really opens the body to something bigger than the personal body. So I'm going to get you guys to lie down and just rest into the earth, let go of some tension. And I just drank half a mug of tea, so my bladder is full. So I'm going to go and empty my bladder. And you guys can settle a bit, and then I'll be back and I'll lead you through the meditation. Okay, so continue to feel into that sense of ease and relaxation on the ground. And feel the stability in your pelvis, your elbows. Your hands are on your lower belly. Let there be a sense of stability through your low back and your upper back. Ease in your neck. And I like to have an eye pillow. It helps to let my eyes relax more too. Also a blanket over top of me too, just that extra grounding on my body. And also you may get chilly too. And just continue to scan your body as you breathe in through all the pores of your body. Notice where you feel any tension. And as you breathe out, let that tension relax. And right here at the beginning, you can start to feel how there's a relationship between you and the earth. So that relationship happens through gravity mostly. You can feel how tension moves out of your body through gravity, how the earth welcomes that tension. Your body starts to settle into the earth more. You feel yourself melting into the earth. And there's an ease that comes from that as you surrender into the receptive quality of the earth. And this isn't imagination, this is real. You can feel that energy and be with your body in this process. Notice the unwinding and releasing and relaxing that happens as you lie down on the earth, feeling the energy of the earth underneath you. So begin to open your attention into your feet on both sides and your whole lower leg, from your knees down through your ankles, and feel into the interior experience of your feet, your lower legs, your ankles, your calves, your shin bones. And as you open your awareness, you can feel that tension melting and dissolving, flowing downwards into the earth through your feet. And you may notice that as you open your awareness into your lower legs and your feet, the other parts of your body will start to relax as well. And then you come to your buttocks, feel the connection to the earth through your buttocks. Feel if there's any gripping or tension, and let that go. And then open your awareness into your pelvic girdle, the bones, the pelvis, the hips, feeling the tension in the sacrum, the tailbone, pubic bone, the sides of the hips. And then also the upper legs, from the knees down through the hip bones. And then all the muscles that surround the upper legs, the upper thighs, the backs of the legs, the inner thighs and the outer thighs. And just feel that tension dissolving from the upper legs down through the buttocks and into the earth. And then feel your mid back at the base of your sternum, the lower rib cage. Feel where that part of your body connects to the earth. And feel the tension there in the insides of the rib cage, the fascia there, also the lower ribs of the lungs, the organs in your mid-torso. Feeling that tension and tightness, and then let it relax and release downwards. And then feel your shoulder blades on the ground, feeling the tension in your upper back and upper body through the shoulder blades, up into the shoulder joints, up through the collarbones, the upper spine, letting all of it melt and dissolve downwards. Then feel your elbows heavy on the earth. And open your awareness into your hands, particularly your fingers, your fingertips, the finger joints, down into the wrists and your forearms. And let that tension release down and into the earth. And then feel your shoulder joints. Feeling any tension in your front of your neck, the back of your neck, through your upper arms, down through your elbows and into the earth. And then finally feeling into your head, feeling all the tension in your face, the eyes and the eyebrows, the temples and the forehead. And then the brain, the cheekbones and the jaw. Letting the tension from the head just slide down through the back of the head and into the earth. And then coming back to your whole body, taking all 10 points, your 2 feet, your 2 buttocks, your mid-back, your 2 shoulder blades, and your 2 elbows and your head. And as you breathe in, feel the tension. And as you breathe out, let the tension go. So on your in-breath, you're present throughout your whole body. You feel the tension, the density, the tightness. And as you breathe out, you let go. And then as you breathe in, feel the tension in your body. And as you breathe out, follow the tension, follow your breath, feel gravity as you follow the breath and tension and gravity down into the earth underneath you. So breathing in, feeling the tension, breathing out, just following it all the way down into the earth underneath you. And each time you breathe out, you're going to relax a little bit more fully. Relaxing a little bit more fully, letting go of tension a little bit more deeply into the earth. So the somatic sense, the internal awareness of your body is extending into the earth. And the more you go into the earth, the more your body relaxes and opens. And as you release this tension from your body, the back of your body opens and you can sense somatically the space of the earth underneath you. So sense into it, stay with the felt sensation of the earth underneath you. Breathing in, feeling tension in your body. Breathing out, following that tension down and into the earth, letting the tension lead you down. And then the next time you breathe out and follow the tension down and into the earth, just stay in the earth underneath you. And each time you breathe out, you will drop and descend a little bit more. So it's still your body. It's just that your somatic field, the felt sense of your body is opening. There's a sense that the space of your body is opening into the earth underneath you, very gently opening down and out. So it's as if you're in your body, and then your awareness goes down and down and open and open. And what you may find is that your awareness is already there. So you keep breathing and descending, falling and opening and letting go. And it's very much like we talked about and all of you spoke of in our talk at the beginning, that the way that we control our life is a lot of work. And it is one way that we keep ourselves restricted in this tiny little envelope of our skin. And it's a lot of work. It's that, one of the ways that it gets described is that ego way of being. And when we open up our back body, when we release tension from our body, when we open and descend into the larger field of the earth, we're letting go of that work. We're letting go of all the effort that it takes to have those kind of self-indulgent, self-interested, looking out for number one, egocentric, narcissistic ways of being. And instead, we are letting go of these self-centered tendencies and opening to something much bigger, much more embodied, and something much more satisfying. We're opening up to the totality of our body with this embodied earth descent. So you keep dropping and opening. And as you do this, you'll notice that you start to feel more at ease. You start to feel more at home. Maybe it feels very soft and inviting and warm here. And it's not as though you're leaving your body on the surface behind. You're just extending your awareness to deeper and deeper levels. You've dissolved the backside of your body, that tiny envelope of your skin, and you're actually experiencing the full measure and depth of your embodied experience, the totality of your body, of the cosmic body, of the interpersonal body of the earth here. So keep descending and dropping, keep sinking. And it's very normal to notice where you're holding back, coming into boundaries in your own mind, running into feeling like the earth like a geographical structure. And when you feel this, even tension in your body that pulls you up or thinking that pulls you up, just notice and let yourself drop further. Notice where you start to run into boundaries, feel that tension. Feel into it just like you feel tension in your big toe or a part of your body. Let that tension be heightened slightly, and then you can drop and open further. Even visual images of rocks or geology, just let those go, open through those obstacles and keep dropping. They're just memories and perceptions and debris, and you just let them fall away. So this is the cosmic body that you're experiencing. You're touching one part of it, which is the earth. And you're being invited to give into it here, to surrender, to allow yourself to be called into its depths. And when you do this practice, it's very normal to have feelings of tenderness, sensations of soreness, almost an excitement in your heart, kind of a longing. And that's really normal. You can let it be that way as you open deeper and deeper, letting go of any obstacles and distractions. And as you descend further and further, your state of body will feel more and more open, because you're opening your body, you're opening your whole state of being deeper and deeper. So you can feel into your body, feel into the depth of the earth. Let the depth of the earth touch your open body and be in contact with the earth as your awareness continues to descend downward. And just notice how relaxed your body is. The deeper you descend into the earth, the more relaxed your body can be. And when you notice yourself retract, it's really not a problem. You can just let your body relax again and open to the space underneath you. There's an open, infinite space and depth underneath you. So anytime you feel that kind of pulling upward, just open and drop again. And notice the space of the earth. Feel it with your body. Notice that it has a somatic feeling, not necessarily an emotion, but it feels tender. It will touch you in a deep way. There is something about the space of the earth as you go deeper and deeper. It feels warm. It feels soft. It feels protected. You will feel like you're being held. So just let your body completely relax and completely dissolve into this space. And then take your time, check in with your body. And when it feels complete for your body, you can come back up to our circle. You might have lost Maria. It's good. She needs to rest. I wonder if there would be, I don't know if there's a way that we can make it so that she can't hear so she can keep sleeping. Oh, darn.
I'm here. It felt so good to be just like lying there.
Oh, I thought maybe you fell asleep. I was hoping you fell
No,
asleep.
it was just like felt so peace. I love it when you just feel that like sense of peace and so good.
I was looking on the controls to see if it was like possible to make it so that just like make it so that only Maria can't hear. Any thoughts, comments, questions about this practice or meditation practice in general, or even the yin practices?
I think that I have a difficult time going down into the earth, that portion of it.
So you wouldn't be alone with that, Laura.
Okay, good.
This is a really challenging practice for a lot of people. It's like the most challenging one of Reggie's repertoire.
I have experienced it one other time when I was listening to him when you first started talking about him, I went to his site and I listened, and it was like 2 a.m. and it was very quiet in the house, and there was a fire going, and I lay there and it felt like I could get that deep, but I haven't been able to since.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So don't stress about it. And it comes. It will come. Just
practicing.
Yeah. So I know I kind of went after it like I go after anything in my life, and I just decided I was going to practice it because I noticed, particularly after the retreat, when I went away on retreat in June of last year, I think it was June, yeah. And I noticed that while I could, quote, do earth descent, of all the meditations that we had been doing on retreat, it was the practice that had the least stability for me. So it would be like, we did some 10 points, we did a little bit of earth descent, and we did mostly a lot of seated. And so I came home from that and decided that I wanted to establish some stability in earth descent. That was where I wanted my practice to go. And so I just spent a lot of time with earth descent. It just felt really important to me. And it opened up for me.
Okay.
So I really do think it is consistency in practice, like anything else. But it is a practice. It is very much a practice where it's not an efforting practice. It's really a practice of surrender and letting go. And so that's a whole other thing. Yeah. So yeah, don't stress out about it. And it's just really common. It's the one that everybody complains about. Not everybody struggles with. And Neil always tells the story of his a peer of his who just says, well, after years of practicing earth descent, I've become quite satisfied with carpet breathing. Right? So he just says he, sort of stays on the surface. So it's just not a big deal. And should you be interested in earth descent and pursuing it, there is the earth descent retreat. You don't, not that you would take it and do it as a retreat, but that you could kind of break it up and do it day after day after day. You know what I mean? Rather than doing it as a whole day. So there are practices in there that you could go through, because it takes earth descent apart step by step by step by step by step.
Okay. It's a good one. Try that.
If it feels like it's something that's calling you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else bubbling to the surface right now? Okay. So thank you all for coming today then. And I will see you on the forum. I'll actually see some of you tomorrow, because we have a Carriers of the Teachers meeting tomorrow. All right. So thank you for being here, and see you on the forum, and then I'll see you next week. Bye.
Great. Thank you. Bye.